From MTN Sports, this is Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
The Cats are coming off an early bye week as they get into their final non-conference game coming up at Bobcat Stadium, and conference realignment touches the Mountain West and the new Pac-2 Plus. I'm Keaton Glogly alongside Grace Lawrence. We're going to talk with head coach Brent Vigen in a bit, and Missoula native and senior captain Ryland Ortt as well. But Grace, a lot of movement now in the Mountain West and on the West Coast when it comes to some of this conference realignment over the last week.
Yeah, it didn't totally feel like a bye week with the breaking news, but there's really three power conferences in this area when it comes to the Pac-12 or the Pac-2 now, them expanding with some Mountain West teams in 2026 and the Big Sky. But the Big Sky has shown a lot of consistency, which has been key for their member schools.
Yeah, we'll see what Coach Vigen has to say about what he thinks about the Big Sky Conference and what they've been able to offer over the last number of years. And Mercyhurst is a team coming in this weekend, coming out of the NEC, which has had a lot of changes. The CAA has had a lot of changes with teams going up to the FBS as well. So a lot of things shifting around, but right now the Cats in very stable ground. We're going to talk about that and more with head coach Brent Vigen coming up on the Bobcat Insider.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
We're back on the Bobcat Insider. I'm Keaton Glogly along with head coach Brent Vigen. Coach, coming off the bye week, how was it? Feel rested, ready to go here?
Yeah, I think so. It was a good time for us. We had a chance to practice a few times and really good spirited practices at that, and then a chance to recruit a little bit as coaches, and then a chance just to get some time away, which I think was productive for everybody involved in the program.
Yeah, what is some of that recruiting schedule like? When somebody goes out to one of the different states, when do they get in? What are some of the key factors they're trying to evaluate?
Well, trying to get into schools. I know you're doing that a lot on game days for high school coaches, so appreciate them. Spending time with us. We're just trying to learn more about guys we know about and then find out something about a few guys we don't. And I think it was very productive for us. Guys were kind of all over the country, so to speak, and feel like we can continue to move our recruiting efforts along.
Longyana Alexander Jr. talked a little this week just about what the mental struggle for him was last year. How do you as a coach really try to create an atmosphere where when somebody's having a hard time like that, they do feel comfortable speaking up? Because I can imagine it's probably not always been the climate in a lot of football locker rooms.
Yeah, I think there's all kinds of different issues that young men are going through. I do think we try to have open doors, I guess, first and foremost as coaches, provide support in every which way we can. Certainly try to identify, when a young man is going through something, and maybe approach him. I know in, Junior's case, that was easy to see it was going to be a struggle for him when his eligibility wasn't granted last year. And, I think the biggest thing then was just, convincing him, I guess, as much as anything, he was in the right place. His road had taken him to now his third place here at Montana State, but I think he recognized, in that moment while he was struggling, they did have a program that had people that cared about him and were willing to allow him to see those struggles through, I guess.
And now, what's it like watching him? Do you see the difference in his demeanor and kind of getting through that?
Yeah, I think so. I think getting back on the football field is certainly one of the biggest hurdles for him. It had been a long time, so through the last month, getting a chance to see him on the game field, see that joy. I think that comes out of playing the game for him. I think that's a big piece. But moreover, he's been in our program for well over a year and a half now, and I think he recognizes it is home. He's surrounded by people that care for him, support him, and want to see him do well.
And I'm sure a lot of that comes from the player leadership as well. And we're going to talk to Ryland Ortt here in just a little bit. But as a captain and a guy from Montana, what kind of leadership is Ryland Ortt bringing into the locker room these days?
Oh, I think tremendous. I think a guy like Ryland, I think first and foremost leads by example. He's had to work really hard to get into the position. Ryland was a walk-on, a guy that fortunately for us was given an opportunity here at Montana State. Has worked tremendously hard through his time, has done the things we've asked. So I think that example piece is first and foremost, and I think he's a great competitor too. And he sees things, that need to be done, and is willing to speak on those things. And that's being observant. That's being willing to communicate. And I think Ryland certainly deserves to be a captain, and I'm glad he is, and I'm glad he's a part of that leadership piece to this team.
Now, one of the big pieces of news was all the realignment between the Pac-12 and the Mountain West. And obviously, you're not the guy who's going to make Montana State go anywhere or anything else. But one thing that I have noticed when you look at the Big Sky, it's been very stable over the last number of years. When you do look around this conference, what are some of the strengths when you look at the other member institutions and what the Bobcats have right now here in front of them?
Well, I think it's an investment more than it is teams being unified, I guess. I think, when you're around like-minded people, in this case, like-minded institutions that are investing properly, I think there's a competitive nature to a conference that leadership craves. I know that sounds complicated to some degree, but ultimately institutions want to be aligned with other places that think the same way, that want to compete at the same level and want to strive for the same things. And I think the conference has changed itself, significantly in my time, which is not too long, and I think it continues to want to climb and reach new heights.
Well, that conference play is coming up in 2 weeks, but first we've got Mercyhurst coming up this weekend. Now, they are a team that's just transitioning from Division II to Division I, but they've got an experienced quarterback who's got some big numbers. They've got some size up front, and some of the coverage issues did show themselves in that main game. So particularly in defending the pass, what are some of the things you're looking to clean up this week?
Well, I get pressure and keep him corralled. I know one thing that happened early in that main game is we let the quarterback get out of the pocket. We can't do that because this quarterback from Mercyhurst, he's a guy that has success, extending plays. And anytime you extend plays, that stresses your coverage on the other end. So I think the pressure piece is first and foremost, and we got to be on the same page in the back end, which we typically have been. But I know we had some breakdowns against Maine, so be on the same page, get pressure on, and keep that quarterback contained is number one.
Now, switching the focus onto the quarterbacks in the blue and gold, obviously Tommy Malotte's doing what he's doing, but Jordan Reed and Chance Wilson got a chance to get out there last week for Chance Wilson, his college debut. What were your first impressions?
Well, he made some plays. I think that's what jumped out, unscripted plays. And I think we've always felt like Chance has the ability to do things athletically that not everybody can, and that was part of the reason we brought him up here. So to see it happen on a game night, I guess, on a game field was our first opportunity to see it. So let's hope there's some more opportunities as this season progresses, because I do think he has a bright future, and just sometimes getting that game experience behind you is the first obstacle.
And now for Jordan Reed, and we'll definitely see him again at another opportunity. What are some of the things you're evaluating for him, and where does he go to continue to improve?
Well, I think consistency. He's had a couple opportunities this year on top of some last year, and when you're a young guy, when you're the backup, not knowing when those opportunities are going to present themselves is challenging sometimes. But consistent in your approach, consistent in your preparation, even though you don't know when your number is going to be called. I think that's something that now Jordan is. He's one step closer. He has been one step closer than he was in the past. So I think it's all encompassing. It's continuing to just mature and understand that, hey, my opportunity is going to come. I got to be ready when it's there.
Finally, the offensive line slowly getting a little more healthy now. Burke Mastel, JT Reed getting back, Connor Moore getting back to left tackle as well. As you look going forward into this week, how are you going to evaluate this, and where do you feel in terms of solidifying each piece and what they're supposed to be doing?
Well, it is a good step for us. I think, looking back at the first three games, I'm excited about what Titan Fleischman and Cedric Jefferson were able to do at tackle. But getting Connor back at his natural home, I think, is important for this team. Now being able to evaluate, okay, where's Burke at, where's JT at, in addition to seeing, a guy like Cedric continue to grow. And the deeper we can be up front, the better, and I think what we had to deal with these first three games will make us a deeper team down the long run, and really excited to see those guys. Burke has really never played, in this light, being a guy that's going to be out there during regular time. So, see how he responds to that. JT, it's been a long time coming for him to get back out there. So, really see how those guys respond in addition to the guys that have played pretty well at this point.
Well, here we go, and should be some quality football weather this weekend against Mercyhurst too, huh?
Yeah, we're getting there. A little nip in the air for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're getting closer and closer to conference play, but first Mercyhurst is coming up this weekend. We're taking a break. When we come back, Grace Lawrence sits down with Captain Ryland Ortt.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Back on the Bobcat Insider, I'm Keaton Glogly alongside Grace Lawrence. Bobcats have just one more non-conference game coming up this weekend against Mercyhurst before Big Sky play kicks off. And Grace, we're going to talk to Ryland Ortt here in a moment, one of the senior captains for the Bobcats. But I thought it was really illuminating when Brent Vigen was talking about how they helped Lanyata Alexander Jr. through some of his mental struggles last year.
Yeah, well, Lanyata talked to us. He talked to the media on Monday in a player presser, and he really was open about how hard last year was when the NCAA ruled him ineligible to play last season. He's just had such a long journey, and those coaches were really there for him, but also the players. You think about Ty McCullough in that wide receiver room. He said he was the veteran leader that helped him, along with Tommy Malott, whose composure seeps through the entire team.
Now they're going to need a lot of leadership on the defensive side as well. It would be easy to look past this Mercyhurst team, which was D2 last year. This is their first year at Division I, but it's leaders like Ryland Ortt that need to step up this week.
Well, the team mentality is to go 1-0 every day, and they wouldn't be personifying that if they already looked ahead to Idaho State next week. They have to finish strong, finish that non-conference, play strong against Mercyhurst back at home this Saturday, and Ryland will be key. You know, his journey so inspiring from walk-on to not just starter but captain. So coming up, you'll hear more as I sit down with Ryland.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Welcome back into the Bobcat Insider. I'm Grace Lawrence here with defensive back Ryland Ortt. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You just came off a bye week. How was the rest? How do you feel like it fell in the non-conference?
It was good. You know, it's something that we're lucky to have this year, 2 bye weeks, so it kind of splits up the season in thirds. Nice to get some guys rested up, some guys back from injury. Got some good work in last week and some needed rest. So.
Yeah, let's talk about the standard of the defense through the first 3 games. You know, you think back to New Mexico, no offensive scoring in that second half. You guys had great third down defense in both Utah Tech and UMaine. Where does that standard come from?
I think Coach Daly has been preaching it all off season and then all fall camp and carrying on into this season. You know, one emphasis he wanted to make was we want to win football games on defense. You know, last season we had a few opportunities that we could have won on defense with some stops in the fourth quarter, and we were up in the fourth quarter and didn't get it done. So that's been a big emphasis this year, winning games on defense. And yeah, as far as third downs go, you know, I feel like we can stop anybody if you can get off the field on third down. So that's a big emphasis all week, game planning wise, execution wise. So.
Yeah, you mentioned Coach Daly, a newly promoted defensive coordinator. How has it been working with him in that new role?
It's been awesome. Just getting to be able to prepare with him every week. We did a lot of it last year, you know, guys going up to his office and everything. Now that he's the one actually calling the plays and stuff, it's been cool to, you know, Monday through Friday working with him, seeing what he's seeing, how he prepares, kind of getting an idea for how he's gonna think on game day. And so then when game day comes, it just seems like everybody's working well together.
Yeah, and you have another Hall of Famer as your new position coach. So how has it been working with Coach Owens?
Yeah, it's been such a blessing to have Coach Owens come in. You know, Montana State obviously means the world to him, and he brings just a wealth of knowledge from being all the places that he's been. And one thing that I think has been really cool is just his NFL knowledge. He spent some time with the Panthers coaching for an internship, and you know, we watch a lot of NFL film, kind of taking techniques and stuff that those guys do and trying to build it into our game. So it's been really awesome.
Yeah, has he or maybe even Coach Daly given you any good stories from back in the day when they played here?
Yeah, they have a little bit. I know Coach Daly's first start, I think, was against Colorado when they were down there and beat them. So that's a pretty good story. I want to say he got a pick in that game. And then, you know, Coach Owens made a lot of plays, so he's dropped a couple stories in meetings and stuff like that. But it's been cool to learn from those guys.
Yeah, talking about Gold Rush, your final Gold Rush a couple weeks ago. How was that experience?
It was awesome. You know, there's nothing like it running out of that tunnel and just seeing a sea of gold. The energy is unmatched on a day like that. And with us having 2 games before Gold Rush this year, I felt like the anticipation was even higher. So the energy was great. Thought we played well. So it was amazing.
Yeah, you also earned the role of captain this year. So how has it been in that leadership role? Danny Uluilakepa told us that, you know, you guys have had conversations on how you could have been a captain last year. So to have that this year, to bring that wealth of knowledge and experience to younger guys, what's it been like?
Yeah, I've just been fortunate enough to been around for a while, obviously, but also just learn from great leaders before me. And so just kind of trying to be the guy that I want to be and leading by example and not so much, bossing everybody around, but kind of just showing young guys and people who are coming up through the program how it looks and everything and what it takes preparation-wise in the week, in practice, off the field, on the field, everything. So, yeah, it's been awesome. I'm honored to be a captain on this team, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, Vigen talked about how you and Justice have both gone from not just walk-ons to starters, but to captains. So what do you hope that others take from your journey that's very inspiring?
Yeah, it's just kind of a put your head down and grind kind of journey. Me and Pert came in, same class, both walk-ons, both from Montana, had a ton of pride in what we did and how we did it. And I think that kind of just put a chip on our shoulder right from the start and felt like we were maybe overlooked in recruiting, but we belonged here, and just thankful that Montana State both gave us a shot to go play football at such a high level. And so from there, it's just putting your head down and grind, putting the team first, not trying to just make a name for yourself and do everything for yourself, but really living up to the core values of the team, get indoctrinated in the culture, and being a good teammate is what it's ultimately about. Doing your job, doing your 111th, and doing it for the guy next to you. And if you're doing all those things, then good things are going to happen.
Yeah, and 5 of you captains are from Montana. I believe 8 Montana seniors in this 23 senior class. So what is the pride like representing the state? Yeah,
it's huge. It's been so much fun just kind of growing up with these dudes and playing here so long with them, and being able to represent the state of Montana. It's obviously a huge deal with Brody gets to wear number 41. It's a cool deal with the 41 patch that we get to wear. And it comes with responsibility. It comes, preparing the right way, playing the game the right way, doing things right on and off the field, and get to represent your home state and your hometowns from wherever you may be.
Yeah. Looking forward to this Saturday. You guys are back at home against Mercyhurst. What stands out most about the Lakers? What's going to be key going into this one?
Yeah, they do a lot of they got some good scheme, they got some misdirection and stuff like that. They got some good players. I know one of their receivers has 6 touchdowns through 3 games, so obviously that jumps out on the stat sheet. So focus on him. He's a big guy. They like to get him the ball in the red zone. I think if we can go execute our game plan, get off the field on 3rd down, we should be good.
Yeah, and then conference play starting next week. Obviously, conference play didn't go the way you guys totally wanted it to last year. So what's the motivation like going into Big Sky play next week?
Yeah, there's always high motivation playing in the Big Sky. It's always a very competitive, there's not really – Big Sky is one of those leagues that any given week, anybody can beat anyone, anywhere. So you're always on your toes. But the motivation's high, and it's just about consistently being better, getting better each week. We talked about it this morning at practice. Consistency is the key to success, and so if we come in and have a bad game, maybe that could be us in Big Sky Conference play, getting beat. And so just trying to always have that 1-0 mentality and always getting better and being on the rise.
Yeah, I was going to say that speaks to that 1-0 mentality. You guys are 3-0 to start the season, so how have you seen that mentality be personified since camp, since spring ball, when that 1-0 mentality started?
Yeah, I think it's just an everyday type of deal with us going 3-0 and then us having a bye week. That was kind of a big test of the 1-0 mentality and how we work during that bye week. We're not playing a game, but we still got things to improve on, still need to go hard in practice. Got a lot of good on good, which we feel like iron sharpens iron. So our defense playing against our offense, just little things like that, and just being able to compete and always trying to find ways to get better. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate
it. And coming up, Keaton and I will preview that Mercyhurst matchup.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Welcome back into the Bobcat Insider. Grace Lawrence here with Keaton Galogly. And Keaton, and sitting down with Ryland, what really stood out to me was his relationship with Coach Owens and Coach Daly and that Bobcat-built brotherhood.
It's really a lot of fun to watch, and there's just so many Montana kids that are the backbone of this program, and even really in the coaching staff. I mean, Jody Owens was a Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year. Bobby Daly is a part of a great lineage of guys coming out of Helena and being great Bobcats, and then you get to see a Justice Perkins and a Ryland Ortt who go from that walk on to captain. I mean, it's an inspirational story day in and day out, and it means those younger Montana kids out there, they have an opportunity to come here and not just play, but be a true leader on this program.
And you talk about their journey and what they stand for. It's really what this state stands for. You know, that blue-collar, Bobcat-built mentality. Both Justice and Ryland personify that. All the captains, all the Montana-made guys really do.
Can't wait to see them get back out there with that number 41 Montana patch on their jerseys this weekend for the 1 o'clock kickoff between Montana State and Mercyhurst back at Bobcat Stadium. We'll talk to you again next week on the Bobcat Insider.